What up, everybody? How we doing this evening? A little tired. Welcome to the Transformer Slag Podcast YouTube live stream main event. We spend Saturday night recapping the news this week, some of the updates of news that have changed throughout the week, and we take some super chats from the chat and just spend the next 2 hours talking about the robots in disguise that we love so much. And we talk about some stuff that I got in the mail, this and that, whole bunch of crazy stuff. And we already have some super chats. We have a gold super chat from Trevor Stasic. Not going to be able to stick around for this one. Just going to leave a shout out to Mazel Singleton and Randolph Healard, and all the great Cyberverse and the great Cyberverse ending. Awesome, Proto. Have a great show. Thank you, Trevor, for swinging by and dropping the super chat before we start the craziness. And thanks for the gold super chat. Yes, we're going to cover Cyberverse a little bit. There's a reason why Soundwave's in the back there, the reason why Soundwave's on the pin, and the reason why Soundwave's on the shirt today, all provided by SymbioteStudios.com. Be sure to check them out, the official Transformer t-shirts, pins, and plush. I'm not going to spoil the end of Cyberverse, but for those who know, they know. So we're going to jump into the news. We're going to cover all of that. And again, for anyone who doesn't know, this is the face of the guy that you hear all week. My name is Proto Man, and we're going to do that right now. We'll scroll you down all the way to the bottom. And we're going to jump into all the news this week and get some updates on some little things here and there. And the first one we're going to cover is that of lost media. So we learned at the beginning of this week that a piece of lost Transformers media that was gone for a very, 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 very long time has finally surfaced after 16 years. It seems that Activision... Not Activision. Was it Activision? It was Melbourne Studios. I forget what it was. Atari. Atari with Melbourne Studios, when they still had the Transformers license to do video games, they were working on a pseudo sequel / port of the Transformers Armada game for the PSP, and this went into pitch development. They kind of had a little bit of a demo going on. These are the kind of things that they show to the heads up of the office, as well as show back to Hasbro of an idea of what they want to do. And ultimately, in the end, it didn't happen. And then a couple of months later, Atari and Melbourne Studios lost the license to Transformers, and Activision would get it afterwards, and all the goodness that we would get from Activision. But that's not to say that the Armada game wasn't bad. It was pretty good, actually. But this prototype and this little demo and proof of concept showed up on YouTube, and the video was quickly put on unlisted, but not before a whole bunch of people got to see it. And it was of Transformers Second Strike, a PSP. I guess we could call it a visual novel, choose your own adventure with slight turn-based strategy kind of idea going on there. And what it is they took a lot of the assets from the Transformers Armada PlayStation 2 game, the FMVs, the models of the characters, some of the environments. They simplified them to the more PS1 in the middle with PS2, PSP graphic capacity that existed on the console. And they were just kind of like, hey, we'll have some some dialogue and visual novel adventures. The character will walk around in the environment, and then you pick a path, and that'll kind of lead to what happens in the story. Characters will join, and then you could have turn-based battles and stuff like that. It was very interesting how they put this together. The footage of it is unfortunately very difficult to find, but if you go to my individual segment on it on the podcast, I linked directly to the unlisted segment. The unlisted video, so you can watch the whole thing. It's 12 minutes long, and it's intriguing, because it shows that we could have gotten at least something of a pseudo-sequel to that great Transformers Armada game, which, when that game came out, honestly was probably the best Transformer game ever made up to that point. So, pretty cool stuff. Just wanted to cover that, because it's amazing how 16 years later, and we're still finding stuff in the Transformers world that we had no idea existed. And kind of wish, obviously the person who put this out there, people started asking him questions and asking, would we be able to get our hands on this demo, and he says it's unfortunately, not allowed to be given to the public because it is a playable working demo, and the files are out there. Just they're in the hands of the creators, unfortunately. So looks like we'll probably not be able to get this for a long while until it falls into the hands of a collector and then someone dumps it on the internet. Apparently, it's an exe file that can be easily played on Windows and work on a PSP emulator. So we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe in another 5 years, maybe someone will coax this guy to hook us up. But still pretty cool stuff. And if you're a big Armada kid, it's another extra grail to kind of hunt down one day in the future. One day. Let's jump into some toy news. There was a lot of reveals, a lot of listings found, and a lot of cool stuff. So we have a lot of stuff to cover. So we're going to jump into that in pieces. And the first one we're going to do is the Studio Series Bumblebee stuff that was shown to us. Now, I'm going to break this down into two parts. We'll do first the Deluxes here. So we have a Deluxe class Autobot Ratchet, a Deluxe class Wheeljack, and a Deluxe class Brawn. All based on their designs from that opening scene of the Bumblebee movie. We knew these were coming because of early Walmart listings and stuff that JT Prime 17 found in the EAN codes on Target. So these aren't like a big super surprise, but it is cool to finally get to see these figures finally in some kind of form. And not to mention to see these characters in their alt modes, which were not present in that of the movie. On the bottom right there, you can see like there's all three of the characters and their blink and you miss it appearances in the opening scene of that movie. Of course, their alt modes were not part of that. So these were all stuff that had to be made original from the ground up. For all we know, these alt modes were probably planned from the beginning, from day one. They just didn't have time to make animation models for them. But what's really cool about them is they all have very unique takes on the designs, and the Brawn one is super exciting because, it has that little drill in the front, which if you look on the bottom right there is kind of a throwback to when he had the drill in the Generation 1 cartoon. So there's a lot of effort and a lot of stuff put into it, and I like it. I like it a lot. The Brawn is probably the most exciting of the bunch for me, but they're all pretty cool. I like how they all have very similar guns because the animation model that was used for the guns that all the Autobots were using at the beginning were pretty similar of each other. I guess, because let's be real, these characters were going to be on the screen for like 2 seconds. They were going to spend so much time giving each and every one an individual looking gun. So there's kind of similarities between them, and they just make it just so different, ever so different between them. But I'm excited about it. I don't know which one's your favorite. I'm excited about the Brawn. The Brawn is where it's at. I love that. The fact that Brawn is getting something that's bigger than like a legend scale figure that's actually based on a kind of a Generation 1 aesthetic. Because, yeah, you could say like, oh, X Brawn's a deluxe. Or there's probably like, a bizarre movie toy that's homaging to Brawn and stuff. And then, of course, you had like the GDO Brawn, which came from the bulkhead mold. But this is the first time an actual Generation 1 kind of flavored Brawn is going to be something that's bigger than a legend scale or like a Scout. So that's pretty awesome. I dig it a lot. A Deluxe class Brawn who still gets shot in his shoulder and potentially, actually no, he didn't really die in the movie there. He's seen, if you squint, he's in the background, but still pretty cool. I love it. Check it out. Let me know who you think is your favorite. Awesome stuff. The second part of that is that of the Voyager scale Soundwave and the 2 core classes and how the packaging is going to be done for these core classes. So pretty hype stuff there. The Soundwave has been confirmed by Hasbro in their press statement that Soundwave's chest does open and Ravage does fit inside his chest and can be stored. They also said in a later press release that the alt mode is lying down, and all the memes that people have been posting, the brutal memes that have been out there, there's a better way that this alt mode could look. We're just not getting the best version of it. Let's put it that way. It's pretty brutal what I've been seeing online, but you know what they say, get it done right the first time and you won't have to explain for the second. So, yeah, but it's pretty cool. I dig the Soundwave. I think it looks great. The Ravage, I was kind of expecting something that was less boxy for the, I guess we'll call it the tape mode, if you will, and that was more of a cube kind of mode. He also has kind of like a missile in between his legs there and stuff. Giggity. But I still dig it. I still think it looks really cool. Again, it really matches the character model from the movie. Again, if you blink and you miss it. Although Ravage probably got the most screen time out of everybody because he got to fight Optimus. So, I guess that's pretty cool. The Shockwave is more, the Shockwave is going to be a core class, and a lot of people are, confused and concerned about that. I think it's more that with the Studio Series line, they're trying to justify a affordable price point for people who don't want, or number one, for people who don't want to spend big money on the bigger size figures, and number two, for children and for gifts and stuff like that, that while they probably can't afford the full price of a Deluxe or a Voyager Studio Series, a core class, which is a smaller price point of classic characters, could be something like that. And that's why we have stuff that has been shown in listings, like we're going to get a Studio Series 86 Ratchet, supposedly. So even though that doesn't make sense from a scale standpoint, it still is something that, it's something that makes sense from a business standpoint. I mean, the Legend scale that was created all those years ago with the Cybertron line, their justification of it was to create a lower price point that could create an affordability for people that want to participate in the brand but might not have $10, $15, $20. A core class gives you a chance to get a Shockwave without having to buy a Voyager class of the same character. I'm pretty sure we'll get a Bumblebee movie Shockwave as a Voyager class at some point in the future, but this is one way to launch it. Cool thing too is the core class is also going to be in a closed box as opposed to a blister pack, and it still will feature some kind of background from the Bumblebee movie, so they will maintain every figure comes with some kind of background from the movie as a display piece, so that's still pretty cool. I dig this. I like these a lot. I think they're cool. Bumblebee movie had some really hype designs, just unfortunately had a not very hype toy line, where we relied on Studio Series to get the really good figures as opposed to the main line of Bumblebee movie and whatever they're reissuing within Buzzworthy Bumblebee. So pretty hype, pretty awesome stuff. Let me know what you think about those guys. Pretty cool stuff. Now let's jump into some Beast Wars stuff. That's the title of this segment, a Major Beast remix. And we got a lot of Beast Wars reissues to talk about. Let's talk about this one here, the Tigatron reissue that we finally have now 100% confirmed because of Walmart stock photo listings. We now know 100% that we're going to be getting a Tigatron. It's going to be done in the Rocky Bubble Wave 1 Deluxe class, Release 1 packaging. It's still going to have his old classic art. It's going to have a simplified tech spec based off of his original tech spec, using like one or two sentences from it and only pieces of it. But the big takeaway from this is that they are not going to be using the original 1996-1997 Western release of the figure for the reissue, which on the bottom right there, if you see, was a cream color that was kind of darker and everything like that, almost yellowing, as some people would say. They're going with the show accurate Takara 1997 version, which has a little more paint in the eyes and is a lot more show accurate. So that's absolutely fantastic for people, because they'll be able to get pretty much the best version of that character, of that mold, if you don't count the Telemocha version, which is like crazy with paint, and so crazy with paint almost that it's almost not show accurate. This is probably as good as it gets. And I mean, it's a fantastic mold. I think the Cheetor mold in general, and the Tigatron mold, and the Shadow Panther mold from Beast Wars Kenner 1995 is absolutely fantastic. And any version of that, if you could get it, pick it up, because it's such a great classic mold and a real good indicator of what the future of the Transformers brand would be, with, storing weapons on the figure, great, ball joints, the mutant head, so much going on in one package. The only negative I could say is just that price point is kind of crazy, the reissue price point, that mega class as they call it, but at least it's not bad as some of those basics that are being, forced into that price point too, like the Rat Trap. And speaking of others, because we still have others, that's one of them, and we don't have a release date, but we also have others that are still unaccounted for. We have some listings of a Canine, a Cyber Shark, a Pterosaur, and a Tarantulas, they're all going to be under the mega price point. Obviously, the Pterosaur, that even though he's a basic class, is going to unfortunately fall under it. We don't know how the color schemes will be with those. Ignore the image that's there. That's just to show the original toys from their original 95 to 97 releases. But I would like it if they did some kind of unique color scheme, especially with K9, if they gave him a little bit of a more accurate German Shepherd color scheme, less on the yellow and more of, I guess, like the copper browns. That'd be pretty cool. Cyber Shark, if he could get like his Skybite color scheme on that mold, that would be amazing. But I mean, obviously it's a reissue. They want to keep it as close to it as possible with just doing little tweaks and turns so the secondary market doesn't get them mixed up with the originals. And speaking of which, there's the Scorponok, which also has slight changes from the original. It's not as dark. It kind of leans more on what, again, the Takara version was doing, but not 100%. It kind of is like in the middle of between the two. But expect all of these also in the near future, along with Tigatron. Supposedly Tigatron is a case of 8 on his own, and will be hitting stores soon, and is probably an answer to, you know, him winning the Hall of Fame and everything like that. I guess. I mean, it's kind of funny, but he's, you know, it's the year of Tigatron. You know, we're gonna get that mutant Tigatron through Amazon. We're getting a reissue. We have the Kingdom one here. You know, just before the year ended, we had the Masterpiece Tigatron. If you were a fan of this character, you got your fix over quite a span of time. So awesome stuff. It's a good time to be a Tigatron fan. Another listing that just popped up before we went live, and it's that of a pre-order for what is going to be a core class Hot Rod figure. Now, this is something because we knew we were going to be getting a core class Hot Rod figure for the Legacy line, and it was part of the big listings and everything. But much like Blaster, I think that because of delays and stuff, and Legacy's not coming out till April, we need to fill the gap in between now and April. And I think that the Legacy core class Hot Rod is also going to be available in this, disputed Wave 5, Wave 6 potentially even, of Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom. So, hey, we're going to be getting Hot Rod early. I'm getting my first Transformer Blaster early, and I'm getting my favorite Transformer Hot Rod early. Someone's paying attention. Either way, so supposedly for December, it's probably going to be popping up, if not next year, first of the month. We'll see what happens with that. But pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Again, I want to just see pictures. I want to see the core classes have been so good. They've been so good. That Soundwave, the Megatron, the Optimus, the Starscream, they're all such good figures for so tiny. Show me an awesome Hot Rod, because we've gotten tiny Hot Rods in the past. We had Giggity. We've had that Generations one that was like a little car that was repainted into movie smokescreen. And then he was movie Hot Rod even at one point in a 3-pack. And then we had the Scout one, which was used with the Combiner team during Combiner Wars, which was used from the Blackjack mold, which I'm pretty sure was planned to be a Hot Rod mold first. It's funny how they always do that, Hasbro. So it'll be our third micro smaller Hot Rod, if you don't count the Micro Master from G1. But keep your eye out for that. Confirm that it will be Kingdom at some point. So it might be showing up sooner than you think. It might show up in stores before we know it. Or maybe we'll get a surprise Fan First Friday or a Transformer Tuesday, and it'll pop up. So I'm excited about that one. That one, because it's going to be an affordable small one, I'm going to try to get as many as I can. It's going to be good. And last but not least, let's talk about some delays. Transformers Rise of the Beasts, the movie, has been announced that it's going to be delayed. Originally, it was going to have a release date of June 24th, 2022. This summer coming up, the summer coming up in the new year. And due to reasons that have still yet to be publicly announced, it's going to be instead the year after that, a full year after that, June 4th, 2023. So we don't know the reasoning for it. I know that when they were filming in Montreal, they were falling behind because of the Big V restrictions and everything that was going on. And there was an announcement that they were going to essentially do it in December of 2022. They were going to push it back to the holidays of 2022. Then when they started filming in Peru, they were like, you know what? This isn't like a big metropolitan city like Montreal. This is a lot more spacious because we're doing our, quote, Africa scenes there. And because it looks like we're going to be ahead of schedule. Everything's going to be fine. We're doing good. And they felt like, hey, we're going to put back that date back to June 24th of 2022. So they pulled it back. And everything was looking well. Clearly something happened. And they're now kind of going, we need to push that back. So it is going to be delayed. It's going to be June 4th, 2023, next year, along with a whole bunch of other Paramount movies. And this is the thing I want to get into, is that I don't know if this is a Transformer filming problem or as if this is just a Paramount overall decision, because they also talked about all their other movies that are getting delayed. So I don't really think it's something that's exclusively a problem with what's going on with the Transformer movie and the filming. I really think it's just something that's going on in Paramount, trying to do the scheduling right. Look, movie theaters are still open, but I think that they look at the Transformer movie and they look at some of their other movies and go, we want people to see these in theaters. We want people to see these in theaters without restrictions, mandates, all the social distancing. We want theaters to be packed, and we want to do it proper. And instead of rushing it or putting it to streaming services, wait, see what happens in a year, and do it right. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of cool with that. Yeah, it sucks that they have to push it back because I'd like to see it sooner. But for it to be done right and to be done successful, because it would suck if the Beast Wars movie comes out and doesn't do well at the box office because of external reasons. Because a lot of other big movies that should have done well didn't do well in the box office because it didn't have the right footing. So if it comes out in theaters and it doesn't do well, the message it'll send to Hasbro is, well, obviously the big V heard it, but maybe people don't want Beasts. And that would suck. That would suck for us Beast Wars fans and the evolution of Transformers moving forward to other parts of the brand. So it's better to hold it back. Hold it back, wait till the world is in a better place and do it right. And the only thing that I have a question afterwards is, what's going to happen with all the toys that were planned? Are they going to have to push all that back too? We've seen that in the past where when toys for movies get released early, those toy lines don't do as well. I'm looking at you, Tron, G.I. Joe Retaliation, the Speed Racer movie. All these movies that had toy lines that came out like a month, 2 months before the movies hit theaters. And by the time the movie had come out in theaters, all the toy lines were already on clearance. And that doesn't make it look good. So that's something to think about too. I'm pretty sure they're going to push everything back. All this stuff, like even this announcement with, like, let's say the Hot Rod and everything. I think they're going to try to just fill the gap with other product. They're going to push stuff forward, and they're just going to go, hey, maybe more buzzworthy Bumblebee stuff that are repaint and retools. Maybe more reissues of Generation 1 and Beast Wars stuff. Maybe more, they'll think of something. They probably have a break of glass in case of emergency kind of thing going on. And they were well aware of this probably way before we learned about it publicly. But it does suck. But at the same time, if it makes the product better and it gives it a better footing to succeed, I rather that. Kind of like the 86 movie. If the 86 movie would have came out like 1 month later, it would have flourished. But it had to come out the same week that on the marquee was Aliens, Stand By Me, Karate Kid 2, Crocodile Dundee. I know I'm forgetting something. There was another big name movie that came out that weekend. But there was like a whole bunch of like big pop. Top Gun was like ending its run in theaters too at the same time. Like the 86 movie would have done much better if it just came out a month later. So kind of the same thing. Here. Is there audio feedback? Are we getting audio feedback? I don't think we're getting audio feedback, are we? I think I have the mic auxiliary closed on everything. Should be fine. But yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. And we'll just have to wait it out. We will have to wait it out. Now, Let's get into what we got this week. Cover some sponsors. We'll also cover, like, we just finished the Toy Armada episode 3 with Aaron Archer. So if you have time after the stream and you want to hear about some aliens and some Kenner product and even some Transformer stuff, check it out. The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Good stuff. Good stuff. We just recorded that episode. Really fun. And we're going to be doing more in the future, so we also got that done if you want to check that out and want to hear my voice and some Hasbro people talk about the old days of manufacturing toys. And thanks to our sponsor, Symbiote Studios, which we're rocking the pin, the shirt, and the sound waves chilling in the back there. SymbioteStudios.com. You can check the link in the description below. They provide us the pins, the plush, and the t-shirts of official Transformer merch licensed by Hasbro, and there is more to come in the near future. This is wave 1, 2, and 3 of the Transformer stuff, as well as the G.I. Joe stuff, because it's all the same in the same universe. And of course, coming to SDCC convention online in the near future. Actually, the end of this month is SDCC in November. The Unicron exclusive, the massive pillow plush of the Chaos Bringer. He is huge. He could chill on your couch. He could wrap his horns around you and let you know that you're safe, at least for the time being. He is big. He is crazy. Be sure to check that out too. SymbioteStudios.com in the near future, not right now. But if not, go get the other stuff. Get some guys chilling in the back. Get some guys chilling in the back. Awesome stuff. Anyways, guys, so let's jump into some super chats. I'll also talk about what we got this week. 50% Transformers, 50% video game stuff. And we'll do that right now, and then we'll get into the super chats. So the non-video game stuff, I got some Super Mario stuff. This whole wave finally came out. My rule with Mario figures is to get the best version of a character. So, like, these guys have been done a million times, but to get a Kamek figure, if you're a big fan of Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Kamek was a big deal in that one. So to get a cool Kamek articulated figure, that's pretty hype. Finally got to pick one up. Supposedly the Wendy Koopa is going to be happening in the near future in that 5-inch scale, so I can't wait to get more of the Koopa kids in the future. And then the big one that came in the mail today was the new Zelda Game & Watch, which is a huge improvement from the Mario one. The Mario one, I have the Mario one upstairs also. The Mario one only came with Super Mario 1 and Super Mario Lost Levels, aka Mario 2 Japan. And it had, little things here and there. This one comes with a start and a select button, which the Mario one didn't have. You didn't have a start and select button. And it has tons more games. And it lights up on the back when you start it. Isn't that cool? It has a little LED. Obviously, the light's in here, but it has a little light up Triforce in the back when you start it up too. And it has a whole bunch more games. Obviously, I'm playing Link's Awakening right now, replaying it for like the billionth time. I love that game. But it comes with Zelda 1, Zelda 2 from the regular Nintendo, Link's Awakening, which is an amazing game in itself. And then it has a whole bunch of little mini games and stuff, little high score games. It has a new Game & Watch exclusive game with Link. It has the clock. It has all kinds of little Easter eggs. An amazing thing. If you can pick it up, I went to Walmart today. It was there sitting, so I'm pretty sure there's plenty of these out there. If I have one complaint, you still have to use a little D-pad that's made for a Game & Watch, so not the most comfortable thing to play long term. Just wanted to say it's still pretty awesome though. Check that out. And what was I at Walmart picking up? Well, my friend tipped me off that Walmart I did this on Monday, so the sale doesn't exist anymore. But in Canada, they were having a 30% off at Walmart. And so I picked up these two Cyberverse boys. It's once again a Soundwave party for various reasons. So I got to get the Deluxe class Soundwave and the Deluxe class Cheetor. These with 30% off came to about $20 Canadian, which is about like $16 American. I couldn't argue with that with the Deluxe classes. I didn't realize though, they don't have, I guess Hasbro's phasing out the bubbles and they're making them that you could touch the figure and everything. I really hope people don't steal accessories in the future because of stuff like this. I actually had to check and go like, oh, does Cheetor have his stuff in there and everything? But so this is how they're going to be doing it. It's going to have the no window anymore. It's going to be in a box and exposed. So I kind of hope that stuff doesn't get stolen in the future. And it makes me wonder with, I just announced here, where was it? With these guys, if they're also going to be exposed with the core classes. That's probably going to be how things are going to be in the future. But we shall see. We shall see. And that's what I got this week. I didn't check out the P.O. box. I didn't get a chance to swing by it. I'm going to try to swing by it in the near future if you guys sent anything to that. So I'll be sure to check that out. But that's just it. You know, little light things here and there. I don't go too crazy. Try to keep things affordable. So let's jump into some super chats. We have a good like hour and 20 minutes left. So we'll just chill, talk Transformers, and do all of that. Let's do it. So Princeton Phalanx 59, what's up, Princeton? With the gold super chat. Hey, Proto Man, do you think there will ever be a Transformer movie like they had at the beginning of the Bumblebee movie? We need more bots, less humans. Thanks for the stream. I've said this a lot of times that if we got what we wanted, like if you took the beginning of that Bumblebee movie and just made that a whole movie, if we got what we wanted, right, which was that, we wouldn't be able to call it a live action movie. That's the problem, and that's such a selling point because I'm reminded of, like, look at all the Spider-Man movies that we got recently, like, you know, Far From Home and all of that. Those are live action Spider-Man movies, and they do very well because they're live action Spider-Man movies. And then we had Enter the Spider-Verse, which was a good movie, don't get me wrong, but it didn't do as well as the Spider-Man live action movies because, ooh, it's CG, it's a cartoon. And you still have people that are moviegoers who have that stigma where it's a cartoon, I don't want to watch it. It's just how it is. My own parents would never watch X-Men cartoons or read X-Men comics, but they saw the X-Men movies. They saw the Marvel movies because it's live action. And it's that kind of weird stigma that people still have with that animation for kids. And so if we had what we wanted, a full CG on Cybertron live action, and it wouldn't be live action because really what would be live action about it? The backgrounds would be Cybertronian, the characters would be CG, everything would have to be manufactured. It would be a CG movie. And I would have, personally I would have no problem with that, but the businessman in me goes, it wouldn't be a good idea because we wouldn't be able to market it as a live action movie, and then you're going to lose that dumb part of the audience that's going to be like, oh, it's not a live action movie, it's a cartoon, I don't want to see it. Which is stupid, but it exists, unfortunately. What you would have to do is, like, no joke, you'd have to do that whole Bumblebee opening scene as a full movie, and like at some point in the movie have like a live action human going, ah, and then you could say, oh, it's a live action movie, there's a human there. There's Shia LaBeouf, he was there for 5 seconds, it's a live action movie. That's like the only way we'd be able to get away with it and call it a live action Transformers movie. But I mean, I would just want a CG movie like the Bumblebee movie, of course. I mean, I think that's what we all want. Look, I think Cyberverse, the reason why it did so well as a series was it had no humans in it. Why was Beast Wars so good? It had no humans in it. Okay, maybe the proto-humans, but they don't count. They're practically what Optimus Primal is. You know, it's one step away from being a gorilla. You know, it's a Neanderthal. You know, I'm not going to get into paleontology, but anyways, the point is that it's something that the way I see it, you know, Transformers always is at its best when we kind of take out the human element. Yeah, don't get me wrong, one of my favorite Transformers series is Master Force, but man, was the human element involved in a positive way. That, like, it's not just like on the side, rah, we're going to waste time in story development. No, they were part of the mix. So, you know, look, people love Transformers Prime. Look how crazy Miko was with the Apex armor. You know, so you got to get them involved somehow to make it enjoyable. But that's how I could see it done. Like you said, more bots, less humans. Princeton, I agree. I agree 200%. And thanks for the gold super chat. Joseph Ritter says, Kiss Play plush when? Shouldn't this be the #1 priority for Hasbro? Oh, good Lord. I hope not. My Kiss Play display Every time I look at it, it's like, ugh, you know. Mind you, if you did do kiss play stuff, you would have to do the human figures first. You'd have to do like a little Atari, a little Xiao Xiao, a little Marissa, you know. And Atari, I mean the human, not the video game console. Just something with glasses and her little, EDC uniform or something. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cute. Mind you, let's see. With what Symbiote Studios has done so far, you wouldn't be able to do an easy repaint of anything except for, like, I guess, Atari Scream. You could do a Black Star Scream. Because we have Optimus, Hot Rod, and Auto Rooper, and then we got the tape guys and the Spark Bots. So nothing too easy there, but yeah, who knows? If Symbiote Studios does like 12 more waves of stuff, maybe we'll get around to Kiss Play and Beast Wars at some point. We'll see what happens in the near future. It'd be pretty hype. Elves Bleed 57 says, I got Kingdom Shadow Panther and Waspinator plus HasLab Hero Quest. How is that HasLab Hero Quest? I'm wondering about that. If the world was more to normal, I'd be doing more board game stuff with my buddies. Stinkfist69 says, you should collect Lego Mario. Bro, I have the Shy Guy one from the blind pack. I'd like to get the Shy Guy that came in the big pack because it's two different kinds of Shy Guys. They also did Ninja, which Ninja has like no like merchandise from Super Mario 2, but he has a Lego figure from the blind packs. I'd love to get Ninja also from the Lego Mario stuff. I'm very picky with the Lego stuff though, because it has to be something really special, has to be something really special. Downright superb. For your information, Proto Man Kevin Michael Richardson will voice Kamek in the new Super Mario Brothers movie. He also voiced Omega Supreme and Bulkhead. Yep, I got to meet Kevin at BotCon 2011. A big jovial. He reminds me of Uncle Phil. I don't know why. Like at that moment in 2011, he looked like Uncle Phil. He just was like this cool dude. I'm trying to think of how that would sound though, like to have like Bulkhead's voice on Kamek. Because Kamek's voice, like if you think of other voices that represented Kamek, I'm thinking of the Super Mario World cartoon back in the 90s, where he kind of had like a nasally kind of voice with his wand. So, yeah, sure, Kevin Michael Richardson for Kamek. We'll see what happens. That'll be. I mean, we know nothing about this Mario movie, how it's going to be done or anything, so it will be interesting to see. David Cabal says X-Men 97. Yep, I'm kind of curious how they're going to go about that. Are they going to start where they left off? I talked about this on my Discord. I was saying if they don't do episode 1 of X-Men 97 on Disney Plus and they don't start it with previously on X-Men and talk about the last episode of the show, which was Graduation, then someone needs to get fired. Someone needs to get fired at Disney. But I hope it turns out well. I love that cartoon to death. Like that Jim Lee X-Men Blue Team with Pockets of Gold team. X-Men is, it's everyone's favorite X-Men. Chris Claremont was writing that. Jim Lee was drawing it. It's so iconic. Still to this day, you go to Walmart and buy t-shirts of X-Men and it has Jim Lee's art on it based off of Chris Claremont written books. It says something. I'm getting a text message here. But yeah, I agree, David. Totally. I'm so excited about that. I just hope they do it well. Don't screw it up, Disney. Please. Please don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. If you're going to screw it up, then do a sequel to X-Men Evolution then or something. Go do something else. Don't touch my Fox Kids, 90s X-Men. We got a super chat from Mr. Bumblebot for $2. $2 Canadians. If Disney can call Lion King a live action remake, well, to be fair with the Lion King one, and I do agree with you, the environments were still Africa. A lot of the backgrounds were still live action, and the lions themselves, yeah, those were CG and they looked really real. But I do agree, yeah, if they could get away with that, then maybe we could get away with that. Did they called it a live action remake? I guess so. That one was really a 1-for-1 remake as opposed to the Aladdin one. The Aladdin one really was a departure. I don't know. I don't think they need to do remakes of any of this stuff. Like they need to stop with that. Do something original, man. Do something original. Downright superb. Wow, Proto. I didn't know Cyberverse didn't have any humans. Definitely going to have to watch it finally. Yep, not us. You know what's hilarious? They're on Earth like crazy. They're all about, oh, we got to hide. Oh, we got to be in disguise. You never see a human ever. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's such a great show. Cyberverse is fantastic. It really is. Now that, Canadians, we got to see the last movie ahead of people. I'm surprised no one has leaked it out online yet. But we had it on our Discord. If you were on our Discord, you could have watched the last episode. Once again, good reason to be part of the Patreon. But I'm surprised how good it turned out, the series, and it makes me want to get all the deluxes of these figures. It really does. So these were. Again, they're not 30% off now anymore. Now it's the new rollover of Thursday with sales. There's different sales online now. Again, if you're part of the Patreon, we keep you in tune on that on the Discord. Got to plug it every chance I can. But I think Cyberverse turned out great as a series. Like I always said, my only complaint about Cyberverse was I wish they weren't 10-minute episodes. I wish they were just full episodes, and they gave us more. Horned Owl, the quality of HasLab Hero Quest is amazing. The dungeon decor is really nice, heavy, solid plastic. That's what I was worried about. I was worried that it was going to be cardboard, so that's cool to hear. Not hollow at all. All the characters' enemies are sculpted really impressively. Awesome to hear that, Horned Owl. That is really cool. Hopefully when I could go back to my LGSs in the future, which, by the way, also, the new Magic the Gathering set came out, Crimson Vow. I have my pre-release kit. I haven't opened it yet. I want to open it and with a bunch of friends and stuff, and then we play a pre-release. But we'll see what happens. The world is still crazy. That's pretty cool though, Horned Owl. I'm really hyped about that. Media Max Proto Transformers Animated had Megatron in stasis, studied by humans, like the '07 movie. Was that a coincidence? Did they? If they did that synergy, Animated didn't need to be canceled. They were planning Prime's flames. Optimus Prime had flames on his G2 laser version, and he was a long-nosed cab. So an Optimus Prime with a long-nosed cab and flames on him came out many years ago in the 90s. It's not the first time that has happened. Same thing, a black pickup truck, Ironhide, was a Universe 2.0. If you guys can even see it, it's a Universe 2.0 version, long before we got the black Ironhide pickup kick truck all those years later with the movie. I think it's just a coincidence. Animated was created really as kind of if the movies don't do well, we'll just keep going in this direction with this Transformers Heroes line, as it was called initially before it got called Animated. And I think the name Animated was actually a last-minute change because, the movies are doing well? Quick, call it Animated because we're going to siphon that audience because Transformers has never been animated before. Never. It's never been animated before. There hasn't been at least 600 episodes up to that point. But, I think it was a coincidence. We'd probably have to ask Derek Wyatt and Marty Eisenberg. I know Derek has been in the chat before in the past, and I could probably, I should probably bring Derek back on the show again. He was on Transformers Slag in the past. Be cool to get him on there again. That'd be cool. One day we'll do that. We'll bug Derek. The problem with Derek and a few other guys that I want to get on the show is time zones. They're all West Coast guys. And so if we did an 8 o'clock thing, it'd have to be 5 o'clock for them. And some of them, they're having supper or they're going out and hanging out with people. So, it's just really a time zone thing. Me and Aaron Archer, we work out because we're both East Coast dudes. So it works out better. I don't know if Aaron's in the chat today. Aaron, give a shout out if you're here. And John too, maybe. We had I want to bring this up too. One of my patrons wanted me to talk about this on the stream. Shout out to Mikey and Louie. They were thinking about unloading a majority of their Transformer collection. And they were thinking how does one go about selling a lot of a Transformer collection? How would one go about that? Because I've talked about in the past with different people in my life who are toy collectors, not necessarily Transformer collectors, but toy collectors who got out of the hobby and how they went about that and stuff. But specifically the Transformer hobby, how one person would eventually, like if they got out of the hobby, what would be the best way to go about that? And I've always told people, like, the best thing that you could do as a person is make a list. That's always the first thing I say. And I know it sounds so simple, but it's like, if you have 100 figures or 20 figures, make a list. Make a list of what you have first, you know, sort it by year, by series, by faction, make a list. And then assess what you have that's a high ticket item if you do have something. And when I mean high ticket, even if it's $100 or if it's like something that you paid, like it's a core class that's like $60 now, separate those high ticket items and put those aside and try to sell those first. Because that number that high ticket item goes for, it might not have that number forever. So try to cash in on those first. Then the bulk of it, now you have that list made, try to figure out the pricing of stuff. Go on the forums. I always say go on the forums first. eBay is great for buying, but it's not great for selling. eBay, since they have separated from PayPal, eBay fees have gone up. Like, you sell something for $100 on eBay, they take like almost like $25. You know, like you're literally like, if you sell something for $100, you go, oh man, I made $100, and then they send you $75. You go like, what? Like, it's not worth it anymore to sell on eBay. It's great to buy on eBay, but it's not a seller's market anymore on eBay, which kind of sucks. You only put stuff on eBay now is if you have no other options, like you tried forums, you tried message boards, no one wants anything. Then you do like a group lot on eBay and just get it out of your face. And that's probably the only thing. Or if you have like a super rare item that you really want that world market fighting over it, and you can get your best dollar, like a Unicron, I guess, then eBay is probably the best way to go about it. But even then, if you sell Unicron for $1,000, eBay is going to take like almost 20% of that, which is crazy when you think about it. You want to lose $200, you know, $200 from your Unicron? Man, oh man. It's brutal. But yeah, go on the boards. The boards are the best because if you have that list that I just told you made, you could go on the boards, you could show that list, people contact you, you could do PayPal sales, or you could do e-transfers, so the fees are really thin. You don't pay as much in fees. Yeah, it doesn't have that protection of eBay per se, but you know, look, if you do stuff with tracking and you do stuff with PayPal, they'll protect you too. And if you know, I have like so many like bills, literally tons of bills in front of me here next to my computer of every time I have something shipped to me, or when I ship out stuff to fans, when I do stuff with the Patreon, gotta mention it, with the gift baskets, you know. So that's something like, you know, if you're gonna get out of the hobby and you need like a good like way to sell stuff, always make a list and then sell on the boards. The boards is the best way, or groups. Groups are good too. Let's go back to the super chats. We have a YouTube member question from Downright Superb Proto. What's your most coveted figure that you don't own? That I don't own? I would really like to, at some point, from the Diaclone Microman stuff, like that's like, you know, pre-Transformer stuff. I would like to own some of those bigger, expensive Diaclone Microman stuff. Like there's this one, like, it was like the leader of the Woderos, you know? It was like a dinosaur kind of thing that they built to attack the humans with the Diaclone stuff. I'd love to own that obscure, weird stuff. And that stuff, complete mint and box, that's like $500 starting. Like that's pricey stuff. And that market keeps getting smaller and smaller in terms of what's available out there. That's coveted stuff I'd like to own. Stuff that's directly in the Transformer bubble, though, I don't know. What am I missing from Zone that I'd really like to get, or Master Force or Victory? Who am I missing? Blue Bacchus and Black Shadow. You know, give me a complete one. You know, Blue Black. A better condition Black Zarek that isn't suffering from GPS and terrifying me. You know, upgrading those guys from that like bubble of the Takara stuff. From 88 to 91, you know, I guess some of those. Everything else is kind of within reach, you know, and more affordable at least, I'd say. Media Max, another YouTube member question. Media Max wants to know, Hasbro Pulse is kind of wonky on delivering to Quebec. Ain't it the truth? Do they deliver to places like Toronto and British Columbia just fine? Yes, they do. So here's the problem. And I've never understood this because your Transformer packaging is, where is it written on here? Oh, geez, where is it written on here? Is it written on, oh, it's written under it. No, made in Vietnam. Where's our packaging thing that we always have written on here? Am I going crazy? Where is it? Oh, there. Oh, you're not even going to be able to read this. It's too tiny. But made in Longueuil, Quebec. You know? All the packaging for Transformer toys is made in Quebec. And then when you have to sell a Hasbro Pulse exclusive that has English-only instructions, can't go to Quebec. So the rest of Canada doesn't have a problem. It's really just it's a Montreal, Quebec problem, unfortunately. Some stuff can come, but not everything. And that's where I hit a wall every single time. I mean, I'm lucky that I have people that hook me up and help me out in the fandom. And that's what I always say. Like, if you ever have problems getting stuff, try to find, someone in the fandom that could help you up and be your foundation to help you. I have a lot of really cool dudes from Jason and Mikey and Michael Koo and a lot of guys that, they're there to help me out. And shout out to David Cabal that whenever I need to send magic card stuff, I can't reach it. Whenever I need to send magic card stuff because like shipping, like to send a trading card to Canada is impossible. Because if it's a trading card that has tracking, it's going to be like $40 because it might as well be a package. But to send that same trading card with tracking to the States is like free. So it's cheaper for me to send it to a friend I trust and then have it sent to me. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's always been a headache as a Canadian to have stuff shipped to me, even though we're right next to each other. Just because sometimes certain countries and certain sellers they just don't even know where we are. Canada, that's like below Australia, right? That place with all the ice. It's next to Antarctica, right? So we might as well be on the moon. So I can't, you have to figure out alternatives. And thanks to all my buddies who helped me out with those alternatives. Downright Superb with the YouTube member question, Proto, what are your views on reissues? Would you take a reissue if the figure you don't own, or would you need to own the original? I'm a bit of a purist with that. So here's how it works with me. I like reissues that exist because people are able to enjoy the figure. So I do like that reissues exist, but I like it when they make the reissue. I probably don't want to get up and grab Hot Rod over there, but I like it when they make the reissue, but they still make it ever so slightly different from the original so that there still is a collectability. And it's still, I don't want to say it keeps the value, but it keeps the uniqueness of the original. So like this is the reissue Hot Rod. What's different about it is the yellow on this spoiler is a lot more orangey. It uses chrome stickers, which actually look way sexier. And in a lot of ways, I feel that this one might even be better than the original. When you really think about the paint apps and they used metal toes, but they painted the metal toes, which the original, they didn't paint them black. So it's actually a little more like show accurate in terms of coloring. But I like it when they do reissues that are slightly different. So it still keeps the collectability of owning the original, meaning people would still want to own the original to have two different versions. But it doesn't prevent people from getting the same experience of owning the original because it still is like the original toy. So I like that. But as a purist, I like to own the original. If I had a choice between here's give an example. I wanted to get Black Zarek, right? If they reissued Black Zarek, that would be cool, but I still would like to own the original. Just because I want everything, like literally this whole display, top to bottom, is all Generation 1, all regions. There's the UK stuff, there's the My Little Transformers, ignore there's some PVCs down there, but the Metroplexes and the Fortress Maximuses and everything. I like to have a section that everything that's in that display is the original product from that era. Everything in this 90s display, like Beast Wars and G2 and stuff, that's all from that era. I don't want reissues or anything. But when reissues do something different, I actually have a section of some reissues that I do own because they were slightly different from the original. When they reissued Predaking, he was very different. Oh, you can't even see it, but he was very different from the original. They gave him a unique sword and everything that actually came from a Transformer Prime figure. They changed his gold on him, so he had a different color scheme. So I bought that Predaking because of how different it was from the original, and I thought that was cool, even though I already owned both metal and plastic versions of G1 Predaking. So I do like reissues. It gives people opportunities. I would look. I own the original Minerva. I spent stupid money for the original Minerva, and at the same time, I would love it if Minerva got reissued. I don't care about how it hurts the value of mine. I just want people to be able to enjoy that character, to get that experience. And in my opinion, don't make it a 1-for-1 reissue. You can barely see her. She's right over there. Don't make it a 1-for-1 reissue of Minerva. Make it better. Make it more show accurate. Give it the, do tampographs instead of the stickers so they don't get damaged. Have it painted on. Do something that makes it different from the original so there still is a collectability and a equity difference, but at the same time, maybe make something that's even better so the fans could get the experience of transforming a G1 Transformer toy, but at the same time, something that isn't going to break the bank, So that'd be cool. But that's always been my take on reissues. I like them existing. But I also like because it gives a second chance to make the mold better, to do something different from a paint scheme or something just to make it better. And Takara was really good with that, with the tampographs and, doing different color schemes and stuff. The book box reissues, as we used to call them, were really good. Stinkfist69 with the member question. I actually won a G.I. Joe snowboard from Hasbro Pulse. Oh, did you? And it's being shipped to me. I checked the price tag, and it's worth $500. Jeez, what is that? Is that snowboard made out of gold? Bro, you need to hang that on your wall. That is awesome. Does it have, cool art on the bottom? Does it have, like art from the Classifieds line or something? That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. If it has Dusty on it, I'll be so jealous. I'd be so jealous if it had Dusty or, Baroness on it. David Cabal, anyone here excited about the live action One Piece on Netflix? I saw a little bit about that. I didn't read much on it. It looks like the people that they hired are good visual examples, but I mean, look, I just saw the I don't want to spoil. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the Cowboy Bebop live action, and I remember while I was watching it, I was just going man, I just want to watch the anime version again. I just felt it was just reminding us of how cool the anime version was, and it just made me want to turn it off and watch the anime of Cowboy Bebop. So, I mean, the live-action One Piece, with stretchy, Luffy and everything, it's, let's just hope the budget is there to do the, Cowboy Bebop was able to be pulled off because it's more grounded. There's not much, I guess there's not much sci-fi budget that's needed for that. It's a lot of gunplay and that kind of stuff. Where One Piece, that's gonna need some budget. That's gonna need some budget to pull it off. And I've seen a lot of live action stuff of anime that when the Japanese do it, it's sometimes they don't put enough budget into it. It doesn't turn out as well. I would have loved to see more of the Rama 1/2 live action they did instead of just doing a TV special. There should have been more done with that. But that's for a whole other discussion. Downright Superb. Hey, Proto, do you think Studio Series 86 figures could re-release for future 86 movie anniversaries? Well, I've said this a lot of times. Hasbro don't waste a mold. Those molds will definitely see action many times. And we've seen it in the past where a mold comes out, it represents that character, and then 5 years from now, they release it again as that character with maybe even some more paint or tweaks. Look at the Headmaster retro vintages, which are, they took those Titan Return toys, which were already pretty good representations of those Headmaster characters, and then reissued them, gave them that Takara, Legends paint scheme treatment, put it in that G1 box for an anniversary or whatever, and the rest is history. So we're going to see those molds again and again, many times in the future. Hasbro, don't waste a mold. Anyone that's ever been to a BotCon knows how they used those Energon and Cybertron molds to death, out of Hasbro's insistence. So, trust me, we will see those guys again, for sure. We will see those guys again. Let's see. Elves Bleed 57, the reissue of Tigatron looks so good. Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. I'm very happy that people are, like, I already own the Takara one, but I own both versions, and the Takara one is superior in every way humanly possible. And I have, like, I have this funny history with Tigatron because he was one of the first ever BotCon exclusives I ever got, because I went to BotCon 2001. He was one of the characters I got to write a bio for that was official. I got to write it for the BotCon box set. I got to work on Tigatron's bio. He's a really cool character, and I just hope that people could get a hold of that Cheetor mold. And if they can't get a hold of that Cheetor mold, in my opinion, the superior color scheme, that Takara one, if you could get that one, man, that's some good stuff. That is some good stuff. That is a really good mold, guys. Like, and that Takara color scheme, good stuff. Media Max here with the YouTube member question. Proto, when will 3D printing tech render this toy industry useless? 20 years, 30 years? I talked about this with Aaron Archer, and I was saying that when the CD burner came out, wish I had, it's under the, I'm not going to reach for it. I have like a huge stack of CDs. But when the CD burner came out back in 1995, the CD burner always existed. It existed in big retail companies and obviously the music industry. But when it finally reached the common man in 1995, it changed everything for music production, how you make a mixtape, if you will, how people copied games, look at PlayStation, how people shared files. The CD burner changed everything when that thing came out. And I remember when it first came out, getting a CD burner on your computer, a CDR, was like $500, and like CDs were like $10 a piece. And then 5 years after that, you had CD rewritable, and then you could get a spindle of those for like, 100 for like $50, and it got cheaper and it got cheaper and it got cheaper as time progressed. And what was crazy was, as that progressed, that became accessible to everybody. Anyone who owned a PlayStation 1 and all the mod chip burning, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Why I bring this up is because we have 3D printing. Right now, it's in that early phase of what the CD burner was, is that people could own 3D printers, but they're expensive and they're still big. And because they're expensive and they're still big, it's something that only few people want to make the investment to buy, and the technology hasn't been perfected yet. It's still good, but it isn't perfect. And it's the same thing. CD burners, they were $500 a piece, and you can only do writables. You couldn't do rewritables. And I mean, supposedly the lifespan, people are saying now, like the light memory lifespan of those early burned CDs is only like 10 years, which is crazy when you think about it. Like, I probably have a stack of like burned episodes of anime that probably don't even work anymore, if that's true. But, or even like maybe my first burn of StarCraft from Blizzard Entertainment, which I ended up buying the real one years later, but just to get a good fresh CD key. But the point is that, it's something where I think that later on, when it's going to be cheaper, when you'll be able to get, like, I think there's going to be a cheap retail version of a 3D printer that will be very good, that the surface area of the product won't be coarse, that they'll be able to print, and it'll be strong material that'll be very, like, uh, I hope that the quality will get up there. And then when that happens, I mean, let's be real, all that's stopping us then is some pins and some screws, you know? That's all it takes. Like, look, Mikey and them, they made some amazing figures. If you guys saw, they sent me in the mail a while back. And those things were 100% 3D printed. They were articulated figures, no metal rods, no nothing. And they were incredible. And they were all molded in plastic. So it's just a matter of time. The question is it 5 years from now? Is it 10 years from now? Is the manufacturing industry trying to hold it back because they saw what happened with the CD burner? The CD burner came out and it just ruined the movie industry, the video game industry. Like, everyone was just copying stuff like crazy. If you went to Chinatown, you wanted to get a bootleg DVD of something, there was tons of it because of that ease of manufacture, it being out there. Maybe the 3D printing developers are just kind of going like, you know what, let's hold back a little bit, because this stuff could really wreck things, and you never know what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's a real tough one to figure out. But I do feel that when it does get perfected, oh yeah, we are going to be the masters of our own design. It is going to be crazy what is going to be made, but it's going to be a licensing nightmare, because people are going to be making some crazy Transformer stuff, and everyone's going to have 3D printers in their home, because it'll just be commonplace, like owning a Wi-Fi modem in your house. And it's just going to end up to a point where you're going to have everyone just bootlegging stuff and accessories and upgrade kits. And then people like, oh, I made the new files. You don't have to buy this figure anymore. You could just print out, this guy. So it's going to be crazy when it does happen. I will say that. It'll be the replicator from Star Trek. Let's put it this way, for people who know what I'm talking about. We got a super chat from Mikey. What's up, Mikey, with the super chat? 5 bones. If you can add some Transformer trivia questions to a trivia game, what are some great ones you know of? Awesome as always. Funny that you ask that, really, because, like, I write... Ultra Primal, who's in the chat here, knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you go to TFCon and you do the Faction Feud trivia, I write all of that. Well, except for like 1 or 2 questions. I think Ultra Primal adds 1 or 2 to that too. And I think Mike, who's the host, I think usually suggests 1 or 2 questions also. But I write like 99% of the questions for that stuff. And I kind of try to keep it simple, because I don't want to do too many deep cut questions, because then people, like, you don't know who are doing these trivia stuff. Sometimes they're different layers of fans. So usually what I do is I look at my collection and I go, okay, which Seekers didn't get, titanium releases, or, something like that. Like, I'll try to, like, do something that's kind of, like, not too difficult. And even if you don't know the answer, you're kind of in the general bubble of, if you guessed, you might get it right. Because if you say which Seeker, you can at least just name Seekers, even if you don't know the answer. It's, I don't know if I say the questions, because it's going to be stuff that I'd probably use in the future when we can do TFCon trivia again for them. It was fun doing those. It was really fun doing those. The Faction Feud, I don't know if anyone's ever recorded those. I know that Vangelis at one point recorded some of it. And I know that there's clips online too. But, I try to keep them simple, though, the answers. I know Ninjatron, who competes in them, is there. But I try to, when I mean simple, is I don't do like crazy deep cuts, like who are the, people who competed in the Convoy Cup of that extremely rare Japanese Transformers 2010 1986 manga book. Like, I'm not going to do like that kind of crazy stuff, or like, name all the designers of the Masterpiece Transformers. Like, everyone's going to be like, Japanese random name. I try to keep it simpler. Like even if you don't know the answer, you could kind of guess it. So I don't know. That's always how I've tried to track it. But I usually make them toy related because I find that not everyone has consumed media. That's why I almost never do comic questions, because I'm always worried that there's a huge pocket of people that just haven't read the comics, and there really is, because we used to do comic book questions and everyone was always scratching their heads, and I was like, okay, let's keep it with the toys or like cartoons or movies. But it'll probably be like a toy question. It'll be like, I'll do like a question like in Energon, what were all the colors that were used for the clear plastic for the Energon weapons and figures, And it'll be like 8 different answers. And because it's a color, it's very easy to answer. You just go red, blue, yellow, like you just guess, Obviously, there's people that are going to know those answers, but even if you don't know them, you can take a healthy guess. So I try to write them like that so it isn't too bad. Because, we have kids. We have kids that compete in the trivia too. So I want to give everyone a fair chance. Obviously, the hardcore guys are going to be the ones who win. Like I'm reminded of, what were some of the teams? The Furmanisms was one of the teams. What was another team of people in the trivia? What was it? Ninjatron. What was the name of Goober's team? It was like the Ninja Squad or something. What was it called? We all had the ninja bandanas and everything. Someone has to find photos of these online because they're crazy. They're crazy. I know when Vine was still a thing, I used to do little vines from the trivia once in a while. They were fun. I can't wait to get back to that. We'll see what happens in December with TFCon, but I don't know if the trivia is going to happen because of regulations, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. But failing that, next year for sure. For sure. I hope. Ninja Consultants. Thank you, Ultra. Ultra Primal, by the way, is in charge of the technical aspect of the trivia contest. He's the one who's responsible for all the cool visuals and everything we get. It's a group effort. A group effort of craziness. But yeah. Hope that answers that a little bit. We are the Ninja Consultants. We got plenty of photos. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know, it's true. Yeah, you guys take a bunch. You know why? It's because of Goober. Goober would probably take like 1 billion photos. Post those on Twitter. Do like a good collage and I'll retweet it. I'll retweet all the crazy Ninja Consultant images from the trivia. We got a super chat from Alejandro. Alejandro, welcome back, brother. We got a super chat from Alejandro. Excuse me, the water didn't sit well there. To add to the 3D printing stuff, would that mean if people had access, have access printers in the future, would that mean toy companies would just sell 3D files? Bro, totally. Look, the second the internet was in every home, the early 2000s, look, I got the internet back in 95. I was lucky. But in the early 2000s, when broadband internet hit every home, by 2005, when Wi-Fi was in every home, all of a sudden, downloadable digital content became a thing. You didn't have to go out and buy. You buy the game, then you buy the expansion pack, expansion set. No, now they were able to circumvent this, and do that. The second they will find a monetary way to do that, all of a sudden Hasbro Pulse will have a whole section dedicated to downloading 3D files to get upgraded weapons for your Cybertronians. They will jump. Look, we're already buying accessory packs. We already are. We did it twice already with the Centurion and with the Fossilizer. They are going to do that 200%. That is money on the table that they will not ignore. Are you crazy? Like, I don't mean it at you, Alejandro. I mean it like seriously. Like, they would be crazy. They would be crazy to not do it. Like, it is easy money for them. In the same way that, look, like, I remember when Nintendo was like, oh, we're not going to do pay for DLC and all that. We want the entire. They knew they were going to miss out on money. We're not going to do cell phone games and stuff like that. And they ended up doing it in the end. They knew, look, when the money is there, there's only so many times you could try to keep it pure before you realize it's just easy money. Super easy money. Super easy money. Downright Superb with the super chat question. Most fans don't like the War for Cybertron Siege vehicle modes. In my headcanon, they went back to Cybertron and the Earth modes got upgraded, ignoring the Netflix series. That's one way to look at it. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, look, they had to have stuff that has wheels on it because they want to be able to have toys that could be, jeez. There goes Hot Rod. That could roll, They wanted to have something like that. So the way that I see it is, they had to engineer that in there. I mean, look at the Origins Bumblebee, how they put little wheels on it still, even though it's supposed to be based off of that hovercraft Bumblebee. Although he did have a wheel that fell off when he got shot. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But that's one way to do it. I mean, look, in the Siege toys, there's characters like the Target Master, Crosshairs, that technically in fiction shouldn't even be on Cybertron and have a Cybertronian mode. The Target Masters left Cybertron eons ago, went to the Planet Master, got their bodies, and that's that. And that's the bodies they've always had. So Crosshairs to have a Cybertronian body based off of that really good Ironhide mold, and that's a great toy, by the way, if you could pick it up. But if you get that Crosshairs toy, fictionally it doesn't make sense. But they had to do a repaint, and I'm glad they did it anyways because it's a great toy in the end. But that's one way to look at it, Downright Superb. Headcanon is cool, man. Trust me, I have a headcanon with some of these figures too. Like Hotshot Excellion there, that's my hot rod from the Cybertron series. Like that's my headcanon for that for sure. And who else is a headcanon character with me? I'm trying to think. All the thrust repaints from Armada, because you have like green thrust, you have caramel blue thrust, and then you have the red thrust, which was like a USA exclusive. And when I say USA, it was actually available in Europe. In my headcanon, those toys are actually the individual Conehead Seekers. So, we all have our own toy headcanon in a lot of ways. Let's see. We have Aiden with the super chat for 2 bones. Thank you, Aiden, for the super chat. What kind of Transformers story do you want to see? I want to see something that was similar to Siege. Cybertronian story, no human aspect, just focusing on the war. But actually not like, badly written and gritty and everyone talks like this because the war is getting to us. And if the war gets to us, then Cybertron will be no more. Really trying to fill those 22 minutes, Netflix? It is nutty. It is nutty how they did that. But, I have script pitches for stuff that I would want to write that sits on a stack in Rhode Island one day. We never know. One day. It's the same thing, James Roberts always tells people who, give him fanfics, right, to read. And he's like, I can't read these because if I ever write something and there's synergy with what you wrote, you might be able to sue me. And he pitches stuff all the time. This was back then. And it's the same thing. People want me to talk about what would I want to write or stories that they would want to write. And I can't listen to it and I can't talk about what I want to write because one day it might happen, So, but trust me, there's stories I want to write. David Cabal, please do a tour of your local Toys R Us. David, one day I might do that. I'll go in with, this is my dinosaur phone, so it's not a very good one, but I'll take my good phone that I use for recording with the HD camera on there. That's really good. The good 180p. And I'll do a little tour one day. I'll walk around just for you, my friend. and just walk around. Hopefully the toy, mind you, it would be better to do it when the holidays start, like when it really starts, because right now it's still November. We'll wait for Black Friday to pass, and then everyone destroys Toys R Us, and then when they stock up again for the holidays, then I'll do like a nice, Toys R Us holiday tour, and I'll post that on the channel, just for you, my friend. It'll be pretty cool. Downright Superb Proto just saying that we can get you can get any movie or show for free. During future perfection 3D printing, we might be post-capitalist. Well, look, like I said, I see how the CD burner just completely destroyed the entire CD market. Like, the CD market was building up from 1989. It had a good solid 11 years of like no one was messing with them. By 2000, every computer had a CD burner. By 2010, no one's buying DVDs or CDs anymore. So like it's just, there was this quick like build and then die that happened just as fast from an economic standpoint. People are still burning CDs. People are still making copies. Shout out to my buddy Otis, who went to Chinatown and bought a bootleg of the G.I. Joe movie. I remember when I saw it, I was like, is that a bootleg? He's like, nah, man, it's a Chinatown exclusive. But yeah, like people are still using them, still burning and stuff. They still use it as a way to share files if they're not using thumb drives or anything. But I mean, it's going to change the whole market. It's going to change the whole market. Gotta go. Have a good night, Proto and everyone. Thanks, Princeton, for coming by, my friend. Thanks for the love and support. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's something that when 3D printing is like, when I get a 3D printer, which I'll probably be the last person in the world who gets one, because I'm going to wait until it's like perfect and super cheap. It's going to change everything. The amount of creativity that's going to come out of it is going to be awesome, because people who didn't do that kind of stuff are going to be born out of it, and they're going to create some amazing thing. The people who are already really talented at that are going to do stuff. And then the most important thing, and this is straight out of like, how to start a business 101. If you have a great idea, like a great comic book idea or whatever, you do the 3-prong target. Make action figures, make a comic, make a website. Do those 3 things. Put them online. And you have 3D printing, where you could make little simple action figures of your characters. You make a comic so you could have animation's expensive. But if you have a really talented artist and a colorist and you're the writer, you can make a comic. And then you have a guy who could put together a really decent website. And you put all 3 of that together, your comic, which tells the story, the figures that are the branding of it. Maybe talk to Symbiote Studios to do your pins and t-shirts. I don't know, just saying. And Hasbro. And, you could really start a whole business of your creative idea with that. 3D printing would speed up one aspect of that, where you wouldn't have to rely on a company like a Spin Master or a Hasbro or a Mattel or whatever to come to you to license your idea and make a toy line. You could make it yourself, and that's going to be a big game changer. Big game changer. Much like when like the laser jet and the bubble jet color printer became perfected at home, and people started printing their own professional files and their own comic books and their own signs, where you didn't have to go to like a Kinko's and have a sign printed out by the dozens, so you could advertise your garage sale. Like it's going to be a game changer. Whenever a big piece of technology like that comes around, especially with one that's going to affect our plastic world, it's going to change everything, man. And then those big companies are going to look at it and go, how do we make money from that? And that's where that's going to come in, which is going to be like 3D printed files. You want to get the official 3D printed files for Hot Rods, Matrix, and Firebolt, like $199 download now from Hasbro Pulse, and Pulse members get 50% off, and they get 3 files so you could share it with friends, because they're non-fungible NRTs and NFTs, which that means like you can't just share the file because they're each individually coded and they can only be used once or twice. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. We're getting to that point. We're getting to that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let's see. We have MediaMax. Proto, apparently the Vok, our evolved swarm from G2, is the G2 in canon with Beast Wars. So what essentially happened is the writers of Beast Wars, when they were doing Beast Wars, they were pulling from the Marvel comics. That's where the term Primus came up a million times, because Primus didn't exist in the original cartoon canon. But everything was really more grounded in the cartoon. There's more things that suggested that Beast Wars was based in the G1 cartoon than there was stuff that suggested it was based in the G1 comic book by Marvel, which, keep in mind, when Beast Wars was written, what was available at the time in terms of continuities. There's the Marvel Japan continuity, the cartoon Japan continuity, cartoon USA continuity, and the Marvel comics, and then little micro continuities here and there, like the mangas and stuff like that. But they say it's an evolution of the Swarm, but it could be a version of the Swarm that exists in the comic cartoon continuity. In the same way that the Vok supposedly are a final evolution of humans, and then the Vok ended up doing what they did to the planet Gaia in Beast Wars 2, and this is all like retconned new continuity stuff that came years afterwards. But there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. That's retcon stuff. It part of G2, yes and no. My personal headcanon of a long form G1 continuity is the Japanese G1 timeline, which is season 1 and 2 of G1, which is Super Fight Transformers, but season 1 and G2 of G1, Scramble City. The Scramble City thing happens in there. Then you got the Battle Stars comic and all that crazy stuff there. And then supposedly Car Robots falls in there too. And then you have 86 movie, Transformers 2010, aka Season 3. No Rebirth. Take Rebirth. Throw that out. Season 4 is terrible. So many animation errors with that. Headmasters, Master Force Victory Zone. That all happens. Then there's the G2 story pages, which explain why the Autobot Decepticon War happened again, why Optimus Prime is back in his original body type, becoming a laser rod, then becoming an action master, then becoming a combat hero. So I like all of that being part of that. And then it goes into Beast Wars. Obviously Machine Wars falls in there too, but then it goes to Beast Wars. So G2 is canonically part of Beast Wars, but I like to see it from the Japanese side of things, which had a great run. Great run. Aiden saying here, letting you know I'm the Transformers artist. For which? For which Transformer stuff, Aiden? Letting you know I'm the Transformers artist. Maybe you're like Prince. You're the artist. Rest in peace, Prince. Downright Superb. I think you're not accounting for social media. Future independent 3D printing will be famous and will tease advertise. Oh, no, of course. Of course. There's so many things. There is so many things that will explode from that. You don't think... Look, when the CD burner became normalized in the market, go to Chinatown. Go to Toronto's Pacific Mall, which is like literally the epicenter during the early 2000s of CD bootlegging and DVD bootlegging. It was insane. It was just like store after, like between 2001 and like 2009, you went to Pacific Mall in Toronto and it was just, as far as the eye could see, just bootlegging movies. Oh, you want the whole run of X-Files for like $20, all 9 seasons or whatever? You want this movie that's out in theaters right now? I own, and I will never get rid of it, I own a camera bootleg of the 2007 Michael Bay movie, in a Chinese theater where you could still hear people talking in the theater. And I will never get rid of that bootleg for two reasons. Number one, because it's so funny to have a bootleg of the movie and like to keep it next to like your perfect DVD and Blu-ray versions. And number two, the bootleg cover of it is it's so lazy. They took the logo from the movie poster and then they put like fake credits at the bottom of it to make it look like a fancy legit DVD cover. And if you look at the credits of it, they ripped it off from a Barbra Streisand movie. So it's like it's Transformers the movie, you know, and then it's like you read like the credits. It doesn't say like Michael Bay, Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox. It's like Barbra Streisand. It's like, one day I'm gonna bring it downstairs. I'll show it to you guys. It's so ghetto, but it's so funny. And that was the crazy stuff that existed back then. See you later, Stinkfist. Thanks for coming by and supporting all the craziness that we do here. Man, it was nutty. It's nutty. It is nutty. It is nutty stuff. It is nutty stuff. Man, I can't wait to open up this guy. I can't wait to open up this dude. Like I bought that other Cheetor, that one that comes with the aircraft carrier, and I was convinced that was going to be like our only Cheetor toy from Cyberverse and the best one. And then they did this guy, Battle Cat. Or, you know, looks amazing. Looks amazing. And the Soundwave looks cool too. I like that opening chest comes with the laser beak. Do a live unboxing. Nah, you don't want me to do a live unboxing. You don't want me to do a live unboxing. Okay, maybe. Let's just open up him. Why not? Why not? We'll just open up the Cheetor just because it's making me wonder. Let's see how this looks. This is going to be the first time I'm going to be opening with this new kind of packaging, so I'll give you a live reaction of how so looks pretty good. Let's see how eco-friendly they are with the packaging. So, look, made from recycled paper. Yeah, well, that's good at least. But they still use, you know what's funny? At one point they were using the paper ties to tie down the figure. I wonder why they stopped doing that, because isn't that technically more eco-friendly too, to use the paper ties instead of the plastic ones? That looks pretty cool though, eh? Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Makes a nice background too. And then you have the instructions, but who needs those? Isn't that awesome? Look at that Cheetor. Ooh! That is so cool. That's so cool. Where's the, hold on. Where's the big mamma jamma? We'll do a side-by-side here. One sec. So here's the old hotness and the new hotness. Look how Brooke that is. Jesus. Look at that. They didn't even have the paint on the knees. Oh well. He's gonna be, I dropped the piece there. He's gonna be, on the chopping block in the future, I guess. That's the new Cheetor hotness. That's really cool. Nothing else inside. So I guess, you know, look, hey, you know what? I could see their perspective now. The box collapses. Look at it, because there's no tape on the inside. Let me just show that. We're going to talk business now. So the box collapses like this. Look at that. Look how easily the box collapses. I didn't have to cut anything with an X-Acto. And then, yep. Straight into the recycling bin. I could see why Hasbro did this. Yeah, look at that. From the factory, you just kind of assemble it like that. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, I could understand what they're trying to do. I just hope people don't steal accessories, because it's going to be so easy to reach them. I kind of hope they put the accessories low so you could see if they're in there, but people won't be able to get their grubby hands in there and steal stuff. Because I didn't even check for the second sword. I didn't see that. When it was in the packaging... Like, hold on a second. Let me just put it back in. I'll get to the chats in a sec, my guys. Like, I didn't even see that. Because I was like, oh, okay, there's the one sword, and there's the two pieces. I forgot to look for the other sword on the side there. So that's a little scary. You're going to have to really know what a figure comes with if they continue to do that. Because someone might be, you know, there's always going to be some jackass that's going to try to screw everything up for everybody. Proto, what's your favorite live action movie? If you mean Transformers, Probably the first one's the best one. The first one is the best beginning, middle, and end. I find that the 2007 movie, and you have to understand, Steven Spielberg had a lot to do with that first one, so that's also why it's really good too. It has a good beginning, middle, and end. Boy meets girl, boy gets car. You know, it has a good pace. There's that little written story that's in there that people don't catch, where Shia tried to get on the football team. He couldn't get on the football team. And then, later in the movie, now he has the Allspark and he's holding it like a football. And, like you have Ironhide and Ratchet that are kind of like his blockers. And he's trying to get to Optimus to get the Allspark to him, at Mission City. So there's kind of that football thing going on. So now he's on the ultimate football team. There's a lot of deep writing with that first movie. And Bumblebee movie's good too, but 2007 movie will still be number one. And I feel that if we only ever got the 2007 movie, I'd be happy. Because it was a good movie. If you're talking any live action adaptation movie, that first X-Men movie, that second X-Men movie, that Speed Racer movie, I have a soft spot for the Street Fighter movie. I have a soft spot for the Super Mario Brother movie. There's a lot. There's a lot of those. Dang, he almost looks better than the Kingdom one. Yeah, I'm gonna take. Stay tuned to Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to take a nice photo shoot of him soon. For sure. Faux show. Faux show. Thank you for the idea, David. Thank you for the idea. We got a super chat from Wayne the Game Gladiator. I like that. Wayne the Game. Get rid of the gladiator part. Just Wayne the Game. That's pretty good. Bonsoir, Proto. Are you French, my friend? Are you from Quebec or are you from France? Bonsoir, Proto. With the release of Black Zarek, how soon do you think we will see a new God Jinrai, Metal Hawk, or other Master Force figures? Metal Hawk will probably be getting soon because this trademark is coming up. God Jinrai, we don't have a trademark for it, but sooner or later we'll probably get another Power Master toy. And if we get another Power Master toy, then that means we will probably get, from the Japanese side of things at least, another Goto Jinrai. So, Metal Hawk for sure. Metal Hawk will be coming sooner or later. But in terms of God Jinrai, that's really if we get another Power Master. That's a very popular design in the Japanese market. So, and as for other Master Force characters, that's just more a coincidence if their Western counterparts get toys. So it's like if Sirens, gets a Headmaster toy, which would be, Cab. If not Sirens, bite my tongue. Hosehead. If Sirens gets a toy, then Ghost Shooter will get a toy. Nightbeat, potentially a Minerva. I mean, Nightbeat, I guarantee if Nightbeat would have stayed his original Jazz mold for his Generations release, I think we would have got a Minerva. But because they used that Bumblebee mold, that Camaro one, we didn't get a Minerva from it. Would have been a BotCon exclusive or something even. I would have pushed for that. What's another one? I'm trying to think. Obviously Slapdash. If we could get Road King, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah, see, Jerry's like, oh my gosh, 2018 would have been 4 years ago next year. Yeah, exactly. Pay attention to your trademarks, people. That's how you get... You want a crystal ball to know what's coming out with Transformers every single year? Look what was trademarked 4 years ago and what's coming up. Easiest one. Someone bite that head. Giggity. I'm tired. I'm starving too. I bought they have these like holiday Pillsbury Doughboy cookies normally, but then they make Pillsbury Doughboy Lucky Charms edition with marshmallows in it. And I'm like, no, I should be eating healthy, but this looks amazing. I made them, I destroyed them, and I just ate them like crazy. And for some reason, it didn't make me hungry the whole day. I don't know what the hell is in that stuff. And now I'm starving. And I'm going to make, when we're done tonight, we're almost done in 13 minutes. Whoa, we flew today. But when we're done, Proto's going to grab a bite. He's going to go grab some food. Like the question always goes, what's for dinner? If Mr. JR is in the chat today. What I'm going to have tonight? I don't know. I wanted to make a panini tonight. I wanted to make like a cheese panini with Philly cheese, like the steak cuts and stuff. I was going to make a fresh one, but I don't know. I'll see. I was thinking of maybe making a panini. Nice, yummy panini tonight. I'll see how I feel. I'm going to make something fresh. And then tomorrow, I'm making Japanese curry from scratch. I love Japanese curry because you make it on Sunday, and then you could eat it throughout the whole week if you make a big batch of it. So I have Japanese curry, and then I have my rice cooker going. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Is JR even here in the chat today? I don't even know if he's here today. We got 11 minutes left for super chat questions, my peeps. Man, it's a Cheetor toy. You don't even need to look at the transformation. Spoiler, how does a Cheetor toy transform? Gee, I wonder. Gee, I wonder. Wayne, I am a Anglo-Canadian. However, Montreal has a special place in my heart along with Transformers. Montreal and Transformers have a special place in your heart. What an interesting mix. I love Montreal. It's the best place in the world to live. I know I'm being biased, but you just have to see it to believe it. You just have to see it to believe it. You prefer Tim Curry. That's a different kind of curry. A lot less Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad and Home Alone 2. That's actually funny you mentioned Tim Curry and Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad because I got one of these recently and I had to clean it up. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I got a lot of junk figures I got to process for the secondary market. Let's take some last super chat questions for the rest of the night. Soundwave. Does he have his tape in there? Yeah, there's Laserbeak. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Downright superb with the YouTube member question. Proto, should the next TF movie be 80s period piece or a modern reinterpretation? I love period piece movies. You know what? Let's put it this way, guys. Let's put it this way. Considering the world we live in today, anything that reminds us of the past and the good old days, like I'm becoming nostalgic for 2019. You know? Hey, guys, remember 2019? Remember 2019? Remember when I could lick my hand and touch a table and it won't make like 50 people scatter in the opposite direction? Remember 2019? Like that's why, like I love period piece stuff. I'm a big proponent for that. Like what was that Adam Sandler movie? The Wedding Singer, I think it was. Like I love movies like that, you know? Just like they go back to the 80s and try to do a real honest take on it. And then try to do ironic stuff like, oh, don't worry, man. Like the 90s are going to be the best, man. Like disco's just going to move forward into the 90s, you know? Like I love that kind of stuff. So if they could do more Transformer stuff that's period pieces, like look, if the Beast Wars thing is totally 90s, which is exactly what it's supposed to be, sign me up, man. Keep me there forever. Man, if I could live in the year 1997 on an endless loop, I would. No joke. No joke. That's my perfect year is 1997. Video games, wrestling, music, you know, computers, like food, culture, 1997. Sign me up. Never going back. Never going back. 2019 feels like 2 decades ago. Ring of Doom. I feel you, brother. I feel you. It feels like forever. You know? Now you know what I hate? I hate watching commercials or watching new TV shows that have all that stuff. You know, wearing the mask and this is because I know that when we get out of this, I hope those shows just get sent into the sun. I don't even want to acknowledge that this era existed, you know? I just want it just to end. Just to end. Mikey, I miss licking my hand in public. I did it every Thursday. Hey, Aaron Archer. Aaron, you show up in the last 7 minutes. I guess you were busy, eh? Busy, brother? Might as well plug it again. Be sure to check out Aaron Archer, along with me, talking about some dinosaurs and aliens, as well as all the other Toy Armada stuff on the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer on YouTube. Be sure to check that out. And then, of course, be sure to check out our sponsors, Symbiote Studios, symbiotestudios.com for the plush pins and t-shirts of Transformers, licensed by Hasbro. Check out Soundwave, 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 and Soundwave. X-Men 97. I hope it's good. We talked about it at the beginning of the stream because David Cabal asked us to talk about it. I hope it's good. I love X-Men 97. I did that post on Twitter, like, what are your 4 most important, like, fictional characters? Man, X-Men 97 was, oof, that Wolverine, man. My kid's birthday today. Happy birthday to the kids. Happy birthday to the kids. When your dad worked for a toy company, better be some good presents. Or did you buy them a rock, Aaron? Did you buy them a rock? You got to humble them, Aaron. Let them know that there's no easy road. Here you go, son. Have a rock. Which back in my day was sold as a pet rock. We got 6 minutes left. My goodness. It flew today, and then Proto's gonna go grab a bite. Proto's gonna go grab a bite tonight, and then we're gonna finish. Here, let's put up the volume. Oh no, actually no. Nintendo might flag me. I'm in the middle of Link's Awakening. I'm getting the 4th instrument in the desert. A pet rock. Red rocks, as Dave Chappelle would put it. Red rocks. Yeah, bought them a t-shirt of a toy with a toy on it. Yeah, just say like I bought you a PlayStation 5 t-shirt. That'd be great. It's like, oh, I bought you a PlayStation 5. It's a big box. And he opens it up. It's a t-shirt. I remember, I think there's a YouTube video online. Some woman bought a PlayStation 3 for her son, and she used the box. Then when the kid opened it, it was clothing. And then the kid started crying. I think it's on YouTube somewhere. Some parent did that to their kid. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. Mind you, you know what my parents used to do? Because they'd always ask me like what I wanted for like Christmas or my birthday, and I'd tell them. And what they would do on purpose is leading up to that event, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't know, Daniel. I don't think we were able to get the Super Nintendo. I think it was sold out." Like they do stuff like that to screw with me. So thanks, Mom, if you're watching, for screwing with me. Let's see. We got 4 minutes left in the super chats. Downright superb with the member question. Proto, children and TFs are intertwined. What do you think of Fred Rogers? I think Mr. Rogers was a saint. I think he was amazing. I have a ton of fond memories of Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers, let me tell you, was and people don't give him credit for this, he was a huge proponent and pioneer of technology. When the VCR first came out, the Congress wanted to ban the VCR because you could copy and record stuff on television. And there's this great footage on YouTube, if you could probably find it, or they'll even talk about it because people have talked about it, where Fred Rogers stood up to Congress to make the VCR allowed in everyone's home. And he did this amazing speech. And the guy who was like the head of Congress, this like Italian dude who was like this really tough Italian guy, was like almost like put to tears by his speech, and it was really cool. And then Fred Rogers, when Nintendo brought Donkey Kong to America, and the Donkey Kong arcade cabinets were out. Fred Rogers wanted to show people this new kind of game called video games and arcade games. And there's an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it's a crazy episode because there's a kid playing a Donkey Kong machine. He talks about the Donkey Kong machine with the kid, and then Keith David, the voice of Goliath from Gargoyles, comes in, and he's the Nintendo arcade repairman. And it's just crazy to see the voice of Gargoyles, Keith David, and him in his acting role doing fixing the Nintendo machine or the Nintendo arcade cabinet of Donkey Kong. Fred Rogers doesn't get enough credit. The dude is amazing. Amazing. The more you learn about him, and his movie with Tom Hanks barely scratched the surface with the stories of Fred Rogers and all the crazy stuff. And I'll end with one more Fred Rogers story before we go. I don't know if this story was ever told on a big stuff, but I remember hearing about it, how he parked at PBS's head office when he would record Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and one day he got out of the studio late at night and his car was gone. Someone had stolen his car. And this is PBS, so it's Mountain Lake, small community and all that kind of stuff. And it was on the news in the small community that, he spawned Keith David. Sorry about this. And that Spawn is really good too. It was announced on the news that Fred Rogers' car was stolen that day. And so he went to work the following day. His wife drove him to work, and he went to work. He goes back out to the parking lot, and his car is there. And there was a sign on his car from the guy who stole it and said, if I would have known it was your car, I would have never stolen it. That's how much that guy got respect from people. He was so awesome. As a kid, man, as someone who liked trains and stuff and trolley, that he had in his house, I used to marvel at that. He had the little trolley, and then he had all those little mini displays in his kitchen and his fish tank. Pure stuff. Love that guy. I'm glad you asked that question. Downright superb. Anyways, guys, it's the 2 hour mark. We had a solid 120 to 115 people, 120 to 115 people. Pretty good stuff. Thanks again for all the super chats, guys, all the memberships. Again, if you want to support the podcast, we have a Patreon. If you join the Patreon, you get to join the Discord and all the crazy stuff that goes on. You can find out about deals and everything. We just literally on the Patreon, we just posted all the weekend deals for Walmart and Target. I think Walmart, Target, and Toys R Us for this weekend. So if you want to find out about those deals, we have it on our Patreon and everything, on our Discord, and of course all the cool people you get to hang out with there. Help support the podcast. Let us know we're doing a half decent job telling you the news of Transformers and everything. I'm gonna go get some food. I am starving, Marvin. It's been great, guys. Thanks everyone who comes out. Thanks for everyone who super chats and supports. Thanks everyone. And as always, like I say, roll out.